Hi guys, welcome back to Reflections. I'm John Ginty, and I'm really excited to share with you today. What I'm going to be talking about is called off script, or when life doesn't go according to plan, which happens a lot. In one of my favorite films of all time, Galaxy Quest, really is a spectacular film. Tim Allen plays a character who plays another character, Captain Peter Quincy Taggart. And in the film, he says, never give up, never surrender. And there's a lot in that simple phrase besides just the obvious, just keep swimming attitude, which is another quote from another movie, Finding Nemo. But when he says that, never give up, never surrender, it's because things have not gone the way he hoped. It's because things are about as bad as they possibly could be at that moment. And, when faced with adversity, instead of folding and giving up to the circumstance of the moment, they have the attitude of, we have to just find a way. We've got to find a way to make this work. And instead of just going away and accepting defeat in one of the worst circumstances that they see throughout this film, he finds a way to persevere. And, in my life, there have been, a lot of moments. There's been many moments where I have faced some severe adversity to the point where, I could have just turned tail and gone home and just done something easier. But, just like Peter Quincy Taggart, never give up, never surrender it's ingrained in me. And, I have to do something about it. It's just kind of who I am. But the great thing about that is ultimately, even though I'm just going to keep pushing through, beyond that, I know that God is in control. And actually in Psalms 37:23 through 24 in the NLT, it says, "The Lord directs the steps of the godly. He delights in every detail of their lives. Though they stumble, they will never fall, for the Lord holds them by the hand." And the first thing that stands out to me in that verse is that God directs the steps, which means we have to take the steps. Like there's no anything else after that if we're not moving, if we're not moving forward, if we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. And too often in life, people expect God to get them where they're going. They expect God to move them in the direction. He directs our steps. He's going to say, you need to go over here, but you've got to be the one that goes there. And the thing is, if you're walking and then there's something that comes up in your way, a roadblock or something like that, you have some options. You can sit, you can sulk, you can sit there and you can get really spiritual about it and say, Lord, please move this right in front. And God can do that. God can do that. But he's going to expect you to do something too. There has to be steps. And it's great, that this series is called Reflections. In those moments, yes, you can stop and be like, oh no, there's a roadblock. But even in that moment, you have to look at what the circumstance is. You have to do something. You have to accept what's happening around you and then try to come up with a plan to do it. And God will help you with that. But so many times we're sitting here and we're like, all right, God, I need you to do this. I need you to make that check appear in the mail. Just make it appear, Lord. I don't know why I'm doing a Southern accent. That's apparently my go-to right now. But instead of, us going out and doing something to get that check in the mail, we're praying that the check comes. What have you done to get a check in the mail? Did you reach out to somebody? Did you do work? Did you, there's many ways you could do something. But a lot of times we're expecting it literally just to appear. Like even the manna from heaven, they had to cry out. Like they had to cry, they did something. So, you can stop, you can do all that. You can, but you've got to figure a way through that roadblock. It goes on to say that he delights in every detail of their lives. But he says that again after the Lord directs the steps of the godly. So many of us are in that place where we're like, Jesus, take the wheel. Again, Southern accent. But you got to get in the car and you got to put your foot on the gas. Jesus can take the wheel, sure. Like I said, he can do it. He can do anything. But there's steps to get you to that place first that you have to do. I'm a filmmaker, and what that means is I have to trust God on so much now because I'm a filmmaker in Syracuse, New York, not in Los Angeles, California, not in New York City, not even in Chicago. I'm a filmmaker in Syracuse, which means I have to trust God on just about everything that I do in this industry. And I have been blessed enough to be able to make 3 feature films, working on 2 more, but all of those, even in working on the next 2, every single time has been met with some sort of adversity. And it would have been very easy for me to just stop and go, okay, all right, this isn't for me. This isn't, nope, I'm not supposed to be doing this, I guess. But instead of doing that, I kept moving forward. And because I kept moving forward and I kept pursuing it and I kept trusting in the Lord continued to open doors. And he continues to do that right now to the point where I'm mildly successful. And I'll take mildly successful any day of the week in what I'm doing because I love what I'm doing. And, there are so many times when things don't go as planned, because I love, in film especially, you have to plan things out. And when things don't go according to plan in the movie industry, you go off script, is what they call it. And actors will do this all the time, and they'll go off script, and they'll say something, and you'll get a moment that ends up in the movie that's really cool. But the thing about that is when they go off script, there's 2 things that can happen. You can either stop, end the scene, cut. All right, I forgot. What was my line? Or you can keep going. You can just play with it. You can make something out of nothing. If it feels like sometimes there is no way out of this, if you have the mental acuity and fortitude to push forward and push through that, you can make something out of nothing. And trusting in God while you're doing that in our lives is so important, because there's so many times, it says in verse 24 that though they stumble, they will never fall, for the Lord holds them by their hand. There's so many times that we will stumble when we're doing these things. We will fall. We will start to fall. But if we're trusting in God and we've done those other things, we're moving in the direction that he wants us to, he will grab us by the hand and he will keep us going. And that's the amazing thing. Like I said, there's been so many times I've been tripped up, and there's been so many times that we get tripped up in life. And what I want to do right now is I want to challenge you guys. Where are you afraid to take these steps? Finances? Maybe your finances aren't where they're supposed to be. Maybe you don't know, even what your credit score is. What are the steps you just figure out what your credit score is? Maybe it's with your family. Maybe there's a family member that you've been at odds with. Have you reached out to them? We can pray for them all day. That's great. But there are steps that we should take to do things, to get the results that we are praying for. We can pray and pray and pray and pray, but God's going to keep saying and saying and saying and saying, what have you done? What have you done? And whether it's family, finances, your health, maybe there's something that you wanted to do with, getting healthier. Have you started looking at the things that you need to do? Have you started, there's so much that we can do that sometimes we just expect God to do for us. But ultimately, we have to take the steps first so that he can delight in that. I'm so glad you guys hung out with me today to hear this. And, maybe I went a little bit off script as well, but I hope you were blessed by it. Thank you guys so much.